Now, here's your host, Rick Suter.
Hi, welcome to Public Report. My first guest is Pastor Nathan Polzin. He is with the Church in Drive, and we're going to spend some time talking about the ministry and about youth and the impact that they are having on this community. And Nate, welcome to today's program.
Thank you.
Well, Nate, why don't we start off and talk about the Church in Drive? Why is that beneficial to our community here in Saginaw?
Well, we really believe that God has called us to be following Jeremiah 29:7. That's a verse God given to us as a mission statement.
Right.
That says to seek the peace and prosperity of the city and to pray to the Lord for it. For as it prospers, we too will prosper. And so we're looking to help people come to know Jesus, first and foremost, of course, and spiritually experience God's shalom. But the word shalom, the word peace there, in Hebrew also has a sense of well-being, rightness, health, just things being the way they should be. Mm-hmm. And so economically, socially, every way that we can be a blessing to the city of Saginaw.
Which you reach out to college campuses. In this particular case, it's Saginaw Valley State University, my alma mater, by the way.
That's right.
But yes, it really is needed on college campuses. And tell us about how you were a product up at CMU of Chi Alpha and so forth, and how that has turned into where you are today.
Yeah, thanks. When I was at Central, I went to Central Michigan University, and my freshman year I was involved with Chi Alpha, which is an awesome campus ministry that's up there. And then later in my college career, I was blessed to be in the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And I was a theater major first and then a political science major. I had no intention of going into ministry myself. In fact,
sure.
When people would suggest that I consider it, no way, I don't want to be a pastor. That's not for me. I wanted to be a senator.
Right.
But it was through
which you still can. I mean,
someday maybe.
Yeah.
But as I was going through campus ministry, that my church, my home church, saw me growing in the Lord and embracing the faith as my own. And so when I graduated, they knew I didn't have a set plan necessarily for my life, and they asked me to start a small little Bible study for college kids that were coming to our church. So I said, sure, not ever expecting that it would become a full-time job or my life's calling.
Oh, sure.
But I thought I was just going to do that for a couple of years and then go do something else. But God blessed it. It kept growing. And through that, He called me deeper and deeper into Himself, deeper and deeper into embracing the ministry that He's given to me of reaching out to college kids and seeing them transform the power of Jesus Christ.
Well, let's embellish upon that a little bit, because college campuses, as you well know, being an undergrad and going to school and seeing all the opportunities, both good and bad, that students face. Tell me about why it's so important that God's people have a foothold on college campuses, so that at least kids will have an opportunity to look at Christianity versus all the other non-Christian entities that are there on campus as well.
Right. I think a lot of the cultural assumptions that Christians have had in this country, especially for the past several decades, are kind of falling apart as far as the kind of backgrounds that kids have when they get to college. We were talking earlier that a good number of people who are college age now were raised in single-parent homes and didn't have the nuclear family that many of us are used to.
Right.
A lot of those people were raised by, whether they had nuclear families or not, were raised by people who didn't value church themselves. Their parents didn't go to church. So we're a generation or two removed from people who actually, as a large part of the culture, large number of the population, went to church on a regular basis. And so understandings of Christianity and biblical literacy are way down, really, in terms of the population on most of the college campuses. They know a little bit about the gospel, but not really much about true Christianity.
Right.
And so if the churches can engage the college students while they're there, and we can have a presence on the college campus showing people what really Jesus is about, what Jesus is really after, and I think at least, like you said, we have a chance to present it to them.
Yeah. You know, with all the challenges with academia and all that going on, kids studying, cramming, you know, trying to get good grades because it's a competitive environment, obviously. But you have campus rapes going on. You have campus violence. We've seen evidence in different campus facilities around the country. And so you do bring a glimmer of hope to a lot of kids that maybe mom and dad didn't take the time to send their children to some kind of church or some kind of catechism or whatever, something that would help them to understand that there is a greater force than themselves. And so when the different professors and so forth bring up about evolution and bring up about some of these different theories, they immediately accept that because, you know what, they know no other way. But you give them an opportunity to say, hey, wait a minute, there's two sides to every story. And you probably get a chance to engage with a lot of students and say, well, what about this? How do you engage with those particular students?
So a lot of kids, they come with the questions, they hear this in class, hey, what about this? Or people that we're in conversation with who are maybe open to exploring Christianity, these are some of the objections that they raise, the things that they've heard in class. And just to, one of the interesting things about working with people who have doubts and have questions and are skeptical is, and sometimes the Christian college students, they want to come and they want to know all the answers. Like,
yes.
If somebody says this, you know, about evolution, how do I prove that evolution is not true? Or how do I prove that the Bible is inerrant or things like that? One of the most effective ways that I've found and I've heard of to really share Christianity with doubters is to share your testimony.
Yeah.
When these college kids who've given their hearts to Christ are able to share with their peers what it was that Jesus transformed them out of and what it is that Jesus has meant to them personally. That's something that people can't argue with.
Yeah.
You can argue all day long about evolution versus creation or the inerrancy of the Bible or what have you. But nobody can argue with somebody's testimony. Revelation tells us that we overcome Satan with two things: the blood of the Lamb, which saves us, and covers our sins, and the word of our testimony, which can save others. And so that's how I encourage people and try to equip our students in the ministry to get comfortable sharing their faith, their testimony, what Jesus did for you, with the other students. And that's the other stuff takes care of itself then a lot of times. There are good answers for people who have questions about evolution or the Bible or anything. There are good, solid answers that we can get to. But I think the first step for people, or the most effective way anyway to share with people is to share your story. What has Jesus done in your life? And he's no respecter of persons. What he did for me, he'll do for you.
Oh, that's exactly right. Hey, listen, I want to get your business card up on the screen, Nate, because I think it's important to people to be able to make a connection. You know, they're watching our program, and it's very, very important. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we have the pleasure of having Pastor Nathan Posen. He's with the Church in Drive, 1208 Court Street, which is a beautiful location, and that's in Saginaw, Michigan, 48602. And the telephone number is 220-2017, and you can even go on the World Wide Web, and it's www.thechurchindrive.com. And when you go on there, you'll get a bunch of information about the church and about what they're doing in their ministry, and that's going to bless you as it's blessing them as well. You know, the long-term goal of standing in a gap, what do you foresee that being?
What we are trying to do is establish campus ministries, standing in the gaps, and church plants in college towns around Michigan.
Oh,
we're the second. Our home church is New Life Christian Fellowship in Mount Pleasant, Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
Started the first Standing in the Gap at Central, and we're the second. We're looking at either Big Rapids or Michigan State as the next one in a couple of years, and we're hoping to get to 9 eventually.
Right, yeah, because you got Grand Valley and Olivet and a number of different schools that that are good candidates. You know, I just want to encourage you. There is a need, you know, for your ministry, not only in inner city Saginaw. You know, let's talk about the Court Street area. You know, in your church, the Church and Drive. You know, that Court Street area. For many of us, we grew up in that area, and you know, right next to the Court Theater, and you got the card shop there on the corner, and that. But there's a lot of people in that area that need Jesus, and you've already touched base with a number of those people, but they need to know that you're there, and hopefully through programs like this, it's going to magnify your presence there and magnify the name of Jesus. And I wish you well in that. I wish you well. Are you excited about the potential?
I really am. I really am. I'm excited that we're in the church is in a business district.
Yes.
But on either side, you go either side of Court Street, there's residences all over the place.
Yes.
So our first step, one of the things we're going to do is go around to the businesses and introduce ourselves and ask specifically how we can pray for them.
Yes.
And see to see their businesses pick up and some prosperity hopefully come to the area.
Right.
And we're going to do the same thing in the house. We want to go door to door, just introduce ourselves to people and say, hey, we're not looking for anything from you except we want to know how we can pray for you and your family.
Yeah.
And invite God's power into your life and see what happens. See what God to do.
Well, you have single family dwellings in that area, but you also have a lot of apartments and stuff in the area. So you have a lot of opportunity to reach out to many types of families, and a lot of times singles as well that are looking for fellowship. Tell us what you're doing with the Church and Drive right now, and how people can utilize those services already.
Right now, we've got in our building, we've got wireless internet installed. So if people want to, they can come and they can surf the internet on their computers.
Yes.
If they have laptops, whatever, they can bring them, check their email, do their homework, just hang out. And we also have cable TV installed, and we have a big video projector. And so we Monday night football parties. We're going to have movie nights. We've got a concert coming up in January, a Christian band coming in, and just all kinds of things that we're trying to think of to reach out and have our building be used by the community.
Yes.
To just connect with people.
Yeah, that whole building complex is really nice. I mean, you know, with theater and all the different places that are all connected together. Yeah. Have you had a chance to meet with the owners of the Court Theater and some of these other facilities?
I haven't met with the owners of the Court yet, but our landlord's also just leased to a new business that's opened up, the Girly Girl Boutique.
Oh, okay.
And they just opened up about the same time we did, and they're a great Christian couple that run that. And so it's been encouraging to be in a place where there's Christian business owners that want to see God's glory revealed in that district too.
Nate, we have under a minute, but tell me about some of the successes, or at least one success that you've encountered already.
One of the guys who joined our core group, his name's Steve. He's been a Christian a short time. We just baptized him a few weeks ago.
Oh, beautiful.
He was able to lead his coworker to Christ. Just even more recent, just a couple weeks ago, we're just about ready to baptize him, and his name is John, and John just got a fire for the Lord too, and they're young guys.
Baptizing John, there's something that has a ring to that, doesn't it? Yes.
Something in there.
Well, I want to congratulate you, and I want to encourage you, Nate, to continue on touching the lives of other people. And I just, I bless your family and in your future in regards to this community. And folks, I want to encourage you that if you have any questions or maybe you can help out, volunteer with Nate's church, that would be greatly appreciated. And if you tune in the next minute or so, we'll be right back with our next guest.